Now I'd like to present our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Edwin Kessler.
My name is Edwin Kessler.
My name is Edwin Kessler.
Follow along again, panel, and watch the monitor. I, Edwin Kessler, am a weatherman. Currently, I am the director of this country's National Severe Storms Laboratory. Our aims are to increase our knowledge of hurricanes, flash floods, hailstorms, and especially tornadoes. Through first-hand research, we hope to be able to not only predict a tornado's path more accurately, but also to work out more efficient warning systems. Tornadoes are by far the most violent of storms. Some 250 of them hit the United States each year. The destructive force of a tornado exists in the whirling winds at the heart of the funnel. These winds have been estimated to exceed 300 miles an hour. Signed, Edwin Kessler. We've just introduced three gentlemen panel, all of them claiming to be Edwin Kessler. We'll start this round, if we may, with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Gee, that's exciting. Number 3, who took those pictures?
Those were taken by an NBC cameraman.
Boy, he was certainly in the path of that thing. Number 2, did he get...
all right, NBC, that's National Biscuit Company.
Photographic. Number 2, did he get injured? I hope not.
He didn't, as a matter of fact.
Thank God. Number 1, what causes hail?
Updrafts hold the water, supercooled water particles aloft, and they freeze and collect more water particles.
Is that the action, number 2? I'm not questioning you, number 1. Is that the action? Number 2?
Essentially correct.
What's left out?
Well, you have to have a nucleus for your hail particle.
Yeah.
Which then,
Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number 3, is a tornado the same as a cyclone?
Generically speaking, yes, it is.
Oh. Well, you mean like they're cousins?
Well, cyclone, it would be a term that might have a local use. The correct term would be...
Thank you. Number 2, where is the tornado belt in this country?
it's the Midwest, mainly the Plain States.
Thank you. Number 1, if I'm a little girl coming home from school, and I could see a cyclone, what is the safety precaution I'm supposed to do, supposing there is no cellar to go into?
I'd look for a ditch on the roadside and try to scamper into that.
Thank you. Well, number 3, is there any sort of particular size tree or bush that you're supposed to grab?
No, you should stay away from those. The best advice is what number 1 said, get into a ditch or a ravine.
Thank you.
Horse and bean.
Number 1, what causes a tornado?
When you have warm air in the lower levels and it wants to rise very rapidly, like a pot of water on a stove.
But
then,
number 1, why would it want to rise very rapidly?
Well, if it's relatively warm, then it bubbles up, just as water on a stove would boil. And a whirling motion starts because the air in the low levels comes together like a upside-down bathtub drain.
Number 2, this to me does not account for the incredible destructiveness of it, though. Have you ever heard a theory that tornadoes and hurricanes are nature's way of ridding itself of bad air? Is there any truth to such a...
That may be an old wives' tale, but I don't particularly subscribe to it.
Do you add anything to what makes the terrific force?
The destruction of a tornado, the destructive force, is caused by the vacuum created at the center of the vortex, which can make a house explode like a tinderbox.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 3, at what level above the earth does the cyclone or tornado go?
It can go as high as 45,000 feet.
Oh, but don't they mostly go closer to the ground than that?
Oh, yes, but we're talking, maybe I didn't understand your question. The turbulence can extend that high.
I know, but mostly the cyclone is lower to the ground.
Oh, yes, quite.
Yes. Number 1, which way does a hurricane go? Does it go to the right or the left?
You mean in the spinning?
Yeah.
Clockwise
well,
or counterclockwise?
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. Number 3, what is the purpose of this survey?
to ascertain methods of perhaps controlling or predicting or nullifying the effects of tornadoes in the future.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have. Mark ballots, if you will, please. Mark them now, voting for the one you think is the real one, of course, and doing it accurately if you can. Vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Are we all marked? Quickly and to the point, eh? All right, Tom, who this time?
I voted for number 3. I thought that 1 and 2 were correct, but part of the hail is caused by an up and down motion within the turbulence that I didn't get from them. And I think these tornadoes that we looked at were going clockwise, as I recall.
Peggy Cass.
Well, I voted for number 2 because I have a friend who grew up in the Midwest, and she said you were taught to get behind a very small bush or tree and hang on because they broke the big trees, but the little ones would bend, like in the Bible.
Horse and meat.
That's the sweetest story I ever heard. I voted for number 1. I don't know. Shall I go get it?
No, it's all right. We'll record your vote for number 1. Kitty.
I voted for number 3 because I don't have a friend who lives in the Middle West who has a little child who reads the Bible. And I liked what number 3 said. He gave us 2 choices. He said either a ditch or a ravine. And I think that was very clever. If you're going to find yourself in the path of a tornado, it's better to have 2 places to jump into.
Well, you've done it again. Widely split again. 1 for 1, 1 for 2, and 1 for number 3. Okay, we'll find out now which one of these gentlemen, in truth, is Edwin Kessler. Will the real Edwin Kessler please stand up? He got it. Orson, you're having a good night, I must say. Yeah. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Peter Hahn, and I'm the news editor of the North American Newspaper Alliance.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Lee Noble. I own and operate the Townhouse Beauty Salon in Hicksville, Long Island.
Well, again, you did well. Checking the score, we find the same as the last round, that there were 1, 2, 3 incorrect votes. That's 3 times $250. Total, therefore, again, $750. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Good night, and God bless you. Right now, let's take time out for a brief film. Back in a minute. That's all we have time for tonight, but remember to keep freedom in the future by the regular purchase of U.S. savings bonds. Good night, panel.
Good night.
Good night, Bud.
Good night to you. Good night from Winston. Don't forget to join us again next week at the same time, and of course I'll see you tomorrow afternoon on the daytime show. Meantime, don't you forget to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. To Tell the Truth has been brought to you tonight by Tempo, the charcoal tip cigarette with good old-fashioned flavor. Tempo. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. The program was recorded.
We asked a random group of